You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Oh, god damn it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's a special intro. It's a special episode. Welcome back to A Fistful of Quarters. I'm Alex.
Morrison.
And damn, we've not done this in a long-ass time.
Fuck yeah.
It's about time we did.
Yeah, I need to bring it back.
We do. It was a fun series. The last time, at least a episode publicly has been available, was September 28th of 2021. So well over a year. It's time to dust off that old NES, that old Sega Genesis, talk some video games.
Fuck. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Put it in.
well, and so two things on that. One, played the intro before we started up just to get us back in that mood again, and I completely forgot about the glitchy intro, and it even threw me for a loop for a second. So
yeah,
good intro, Alex. Good,
yeah.
good past Alex. But second off, I find it really funny that blowing in the cartridge is a placebo effect.
Yep.
And it in fact probably ruins your cartridge.
Yeah.
Because what'll happen is adults, teenagers don't, but younger kids that did that shit, I'm sure I was guilty of it. When you blew into it, it was like
You're blowing fucking spit in that goddamn thing.
All in it, and that can corrode the board.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any sort of like NES cleaning or like Sega cleaning techniques as a kid other than blowing in them?
Q-tip.
Well, see, I used to dip a Q-tip in alcohol.
No, I didn't do the alcohol. I just used a Q-tip. But like a lot of stuff I had like growing up was like secondhand. So we would get, NES cartridges that were legitimately dirty. So yeah, we would just use a Q-tip or like a really thin like washcloth on the tip and just swap it, and it worked almost 99% of the time. I rarely had a cartridge fuck up.
Really?
Yeah, and the only reason I had a cartridge fucked up is because the battery died inside the cartridge.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had to buy a special it's a torque bit that you have to buy to take it out, and there's a built-in battery inside. Yeah,
those torque bits are pretty easy to find now, but I remember back in the day, no, they're very proprietary. This damn Japanese.
That's like that's why Xbox and PlayStation have kind of gone backwards and using Phillips and flathead screws. Not only because of the controller, but because people do so much unique things with them.
Oh, yeah, and it's a lot easier to install more memory and shit like that, because it's just solid-state drives in there, so you can just swap one out, and it's like, bam, you got like 2 terabytes of storage if you want.
There was a guy online, he redid Pokemon cartridges, and where he put in extra memory and did the software differently to where you could have 2 to 3 save files to choose from instead of just the one.
Nice.
So it gave you, which I love. Nintendo still has that, just the one save file per game, which is fucking ruthless as shit when you're trying to play Breath of the Wild. And it's just like, oh, all that progress you made, all that shit you collected, all those things you murdered. Yeah, you got to do it again. You get one save. You get one save. And it's just
really?
Like, yeah. That's what makes Link to the Past a fucking bitch and a half.
We'll see, and what we'll be discussing here in you already saw the title. We'll be talking Mario games, the lineage of Super Mario, and homage to the new movie that's going to be coming out here soon. Which we'll talk on that a little bit first. But before we get to that, I forgot where I was leading with that.
We're talking about single saves.
Oh yeah, single saves. In the Mario games, the 2 that I can think of that I played, 3 that I can think of I played the most, let you have 3 save files.
So the original Super Mario Brothers on the NES had the single.
It had 0.
Yeah.
You had no save files on the original.
Yeah, and
then same thing with 2, and then on 3 there was semi-save files.
Yeah, so they did the same thing I believe Contra had done, which was show up a code real quick, because a lot of people could go back. There was a way you could do it in the game where you could go back where you left off, and by the 3rd game.
Yeah.
And by the time Super Mario Brothers came out, Super Mario World, you had 3 save files.
Yep, for Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Super Nintendo, and that was the shit, because you're just like, oh fuck, here's the one I saved to where I'm at the castle, at the main castle. I'll just keep it there and beat Bowser whenever I want to. And then there's the ones I'm just exploring.
Yeah.
And then there's one for like your sister or brother or something.
And see, that's what I did with Super Mario 64. You were allowed 3 save files on that one. So the main save file was the grind it out, get all the stars as possible. And then I used the other ones as like, my friends came over, oh, have you played Super Mario? No. All right, cool, let me show you. Start up the brand new save file and let them kick it off from the start, shit like that. And the same thing with Sunshine and Galaxy. So yeah, I find that funny that Zelda only lets you have the one.
Yeah, I think it adds to the hardness level of it.
Yeah,
and plus the whole Super Nintendo Link to the Past had 3, and the Game Boys had 3, but like the Switch only has the one save.
Yeah,
because I think it's because it's a massive game, and plus it brings you back to the original game, where Legend of Zelda. It just starts with you meeting a guy in a cave. And he's like, "Here, take this. You're gonna need it."
Yeah,
it's like you take this shiv and kill all the animals.
That's the best paraphrase ever. Here, take this.
You're gonna need it.
You're gonna need it.
But it's a gun. There's plenty of bullets in the village.
They're strung about, my man. Just go get them.
Keep that motherfucking thing on you. If I was to remake Zelda, that's what it would say. Him just handing him a sword and saying, "Keep this motherfucking thing on you."
But yeah, and an homage to the new Super Mario Brothers movie, voiced by Chris Pratt as Mario, and Luigi's going to be played by Charlie Day, and then Jack Black as Bowser,
which I'm excited for.
Dude,
I would say the trailer itself. Just go to the trailer. Illumination did a fucking fantastic job just by the look alone. Man,
you can tell Nintendo was over their shoulder the entire time, going no, like this. Face all fucked up.
And it kind of, it's probably partially thanks to the Sonic movie, I think, because, the animation has gotten better throughout the whole series of video games. And there are gem movies out there and stuff. And I think that...
Well, we did one, the new Mortal Kombat movie. That was really good.
Yeah, it was great. The Resident Evil movies are always fun. The Silent Hills are always fun.
I've heard mixed reviews on the Silent Hill movies.
The first one is fantastic. It's brutal as shit. But that's we've talked about this before about how video games kind of become movies later on in life. But for this series, which is a platformer, you're playing one guy and his brother. Sometimes there's a party. Sometimes there's a kart race. Sometimes they're meeting interdimensional characters that they have to stomp the shit out of in their hometowns. Like Mario's just a platforming guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's a doctor. Sometimes he's made of paper. He's got a paper thin self-esteem. But sometimes he's dressed as like a raccoon.
Or a cat.
Or whatever. Yeah, like when I remember playing Mario 3 for the NES and hating it because I'm just like, what are all these stupid fucking power-ups and why do I have them? Like, he had a flute.
Yeah.
In one. I'm just like, that's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. But, no, it's just a platforming game that's always fun, and I can speedrun the shit out of it.
But later on, it feels like I really remember it starting in Sunshine, but it got really seen about by Galaxy, which is having those really crazy detailed opening cutscenes. So as soon as I heard that they're going to be making a Mario movie, first thing I thought of was the Super Mario Galaxy intro where he's hanging out, on that one land and Bowser comes in and basically fucking Age of Ultron's that shit and just fucking rips her castle off, the fucking part of the planet. And it's just like, God damn, this is intense.
Yeah.
For a beginning of a Mario game. What the fuck? So when we watched the trailer, you kind of got vibes of that when it was facing up against the penguins and they're all throwing the snowballs and then he's just like, all right, get the fuck out of the way. And fucking just annihilates everything. And hearing Jack Black as Bowser, fucking pitch perfect. Yeah. Fucking love it.
Oh, no, I love the voices so far. It's going to be like a fun... it's going to be a fun movie. I think.
I'm not expecting here's the thing.
I'm not expecting Lord of the Rings.
No, I'm not expecting true cinema. But here's the thing too: the way people are acting about this movie, being like, "Yeah, it should be just a fun romp movie." You know what they also said that to? The Lego Movie, and that turned into a fucking great film.
No,
you don't like the Lego Movie. I feel
it's for what they had to go through to make it. That is fucking brutal. but it is fantastic just because you're seeing everything on imagination level shrunken down to the screen. You got master.
Well, I was talking about like the whole plot twist at the end and how the whole story was actually what was happening in life and like the kids.
I like the Lego movie. The only thing that bothers me is that fucking song.
Well, yeah.
But other than that, it's fantastic. It's 9 out of 10 for me. Like it's a fun movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just love that. Oh, it's the Craggle.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck is Craggle? It's just Crazy Glue.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's the big enemy of the game, of the fucking movie, is Crazy Glue. Super Glue. And like Will Ferrell does a great job as playing, because when it does the whole giant boots thing, I did that with my Legos. I gave my guys like giant feet and like made them look bigger than them. I used to take the legs and bend down a second pair of legs and stick him in the back to make him a horseman, like a centaur. I used to do that all the time because it looked like a centaur because it kind of fits. But yeah, it's like that's all I did.
God damn it, I love it. Yeah. But no, so with that though, the Sonic movies seem to do pretty okay.
The second one really did well.
Mm-hmm. Detective Pikachu.
That was a fun movie.
I didn't see it, but I heard decent things about it.
They went with it. The narrative of that one is not like the original Pokemon movie we saw as kids.
Yeah.
That's an emotional grind. And this one shows off a lot, like a world within a world of Pokemon.
Right.
But like they're real, which kind of makes it weird. But the detail on them are fucking fantastic. They look real. They have fur, like the way they do the fur, the way they do some of the other ones, and the way they just like there's one where Lickitung shows up, and you can see like the saliva running down his mouth, and it's just like, what the fuck? And you see that Mr. Mime, and you're like, is that a person? Because as someone who like likes Pokemon, there are characters in the Pokemon universe that are like people, but yet they're Pokemon, and it's just like. I'm pretty sure Nicki Minaj is not a Pokemon.
Ew.
But in the original 150, Jinx looks like Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about it. We'll do a Pokemon episode if you want. Or because I know about the first 150. That's all I really know about.
I used to be able to name them all. Like I could
Did you know the Poke-Rap?
No.
Oh.
I don't need that shit.
Not a real fan.
Probably not.
But we're going to get back on track to Super Mario because this new movie, for all intents and purposes, looks pretty fucking good. I don't have any complaints about it. Voice cast looks good. I know a lot of people were kind of talking shit that Mario's voice actor wasn't chosen for the role. I actually should look him up because he does deserve like credit. He has been the voice of Mario ever since the 90s.
Since the release of Mario Sound.
Mario 64.
Yeah. Where you actually hear him talk. Or like semi-talk.
Yeah, Charles Martinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he voices Mario in everything. He has always been the voice. Well, Chris Pratt, I get it. They want to do the Hollywood thing and pick like a popular person. But at the same time, think back to all those Mario games and the way he sounds. It's fun and enjoyable because you hear it every so often. You hear a little bit of dialogue here and there. And the jumps and the wah-hoo.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sound effects.
Imagine an entire hour and a half movie of that dialect.
Yeah.
It would be so grating to the ears.
Yeah.
I'm sure Chris Pratt is just going to do a slight Italian accent. But you know what? I'm cool with that. Because you know what? You know what I'm expecting Luigi to sound like? Fucking Charlie Day maxed out on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. When he's having to do his Charlie work and he's getting all fucking wigged out about Pepe with the mail fraud. That's what I expecting to hear from Luigi. And that's going to be fun. I don't expect anything different.
Not, my skin is made of spiders.
Although one person seems to have a lot to say about the casting.
John Leguizamo.
Yes.
I love John Leguizamo in movies. He's fantastic. He makes a great villain. He makes a great segue character. Like he bears in John Wick. He provides the best exposition we've ever heard about a fucking anti-hero in a movie. He's like, you touched his car, you dumb motherfucker. Now we have exposition. That's all he had to do. And now he's up his own ass talking about, you need someone of Italian descent or someone who sounds Italian to play Mario, which, as I recall, he played Luigi.
Yes.
and he is not Italian.
No, he is not.
He played in Romeo and Juliet, and I do not recall that he is Sicilian. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's this leeway where people forgot what acting was on some things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck them.
And see, and here's it just really annoys me because he's saying that he feels like he's the only one that knows how to truly do this character, and as you said, that's such a non-diverse cast and all this other stuff, and you really need, you know, someone of Italian descent to play.
No, you don't.
You know, he's
Yeah.
pitching for himself to play Luigi, which means he's got his eyes on Charlie Day. Mm-hmm. He's calling out Charlie without saying his name. Mm-hmm. He's just saying casting.
Yeah.
Do you know why he's not calling Charlie out by name? Because Charlie Day's fucking Italian.
Yeah.
I looked that up because I'm just like, oh shit. Well, maybe if like, you know, what is his background? Charlie Day's background is he's Italian.
But like even that,
I'm just like, what the fuck?
it doesn't matter. They're fictional characters. It's voice work.
Yes, I do get that. And because it's like, you know, hell, one of the most popular bratty boys on TV history is voiced by a girl.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, it's voice acting. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But at the same time, it's like, if he's trying to get on his high horse about the fucking, you know, heritage of the voice actors, get off Charlie's dick.
That's kind of indicative of all this new thing coming about.
Yeah.
Of, oh no, we need exposure for these characters. You do. And if you actually talk to some of those people who actually want to see themselves on the big screen, like, let's say wheelchair-bound people, there was a show called Glee.
Yeah.
He got so much hell, and now he refuses to play the wheelchair kid. But now the disabled community is coming out saying, no, you need to play it because you made that role. He's not disabled. Tom Hanks isn't mentally challenged, but he played Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
He did fucking fantastic. He did fucking fantastic. And like it kind of ruins the whole aspect of what acting is, which you're playing a role. You're a fictional person.
Yeah.
I can understand some things. Like I wouldn't want Mel Gibson to play Shaka Zulu or some shit. Like that makes fucking sense. But like I got someone like Phil Lamar playing a Japanese samurai in an animated cartoon.
Sounds all right to me.
Sounds all right to me. I got George Orwell doing the voice of fucking Unicron, a planet-eating robot. He's not a planet-eating robot. He's a fat man, but like he's not a planet eater. He might be. I don't know. I don't know if he engulfed a universe and died. But like, you know, you're kind of painting yourself in a box when you're looking for some of these characters.
Yeah,
and it's fucking ridiculous.
No, it really is ridiculous.
Like, there's no reason in the voice acting community, it doesn't matter. It really fucking doesn't.
No, especially when
as long as it's believable.
Especially when Mario is an Italian plumber created by a Japanese guy from overseas. So it's just like you've got enough mixed here. Let's just calm down some.
And in the beginning, he was an Italian plumber fighting a princess stealing ape.
Yes.
That makes perfect sense. The 80s. When that came out, just like, oh, what is he doing? Oh, man, my bitch Annie, he took her, or whatever her fucking name was it Rose or Penelope or some shit?
Penelope, yeah.
Penelope. This redhead bitch fucking ran off, and now he has to go save her. And became one of the most addictive fucking arcade games of all time.
Well, just a quick little bit of history here. He was created by Shigeru Miyamoto. Mm-hmm. And his first debut was in the arcade Donkey Kong in 1981. We had a little debate right before that because I was looking at a different page. And I was just like, well, it says 83 here. I was looking at the NES release. Bro. And he was just like, no. And, but then he wound up getting his first major debut with his own game in, let's see, pull that up here, 1985 in Japan, and then everywhere else in 87 on the original Nintendo system.
Yeah.
But before that, you had your Mario Brothers arcade game where you were kind of jumping around, kicking the turtles off the platforms.
Yeah, they actually they used the original platform of a game called Joust, where your characters are riding ostriches, but like it was the same format as that game.
Oh, sorry, it was Pauline,
Yeah,
not Penelope. It was Pauline. I always got that wrong too. I was wanting to correct that.
You always forget your first bitch. He's not Bill Clinton. He doesn't remember them all.
But it's interesting though. So before Mario had his first official platformer on the NES, also on the NES, or just like other games, he was in Donkey Kong Jr., just a regular game called Pinball, Golf, Donkey Kong 3, Wrecking Crew, and all of those games feature Mario but aren't Mario games.
Yes.
So by this point, Nintendo saw that they had a character on their hands, and they're just like, we're going to put him in everything, even if it's not an actual Mario game.
And what's funny is like just like the culture of, going into it. In the 80s, you have the resurgence of kaiju stuff, and Donkey Kong is actually just a version of King Kong because it was actually a spelling mistake.
Well, no, it wasn't a spelling mistake. So they wanted to. So it wound up being a translation error. Donkey Kong in their translation means stupid ape. And that's what they considered Donkey Kong to be, stupid ape. That's why he stole the princess, throwing the barrels. He's just a stupid ape. So when they wanted to just call it Kong, so through that's when they got their copyright strike. And they were like, okay, we're just going to call it Donkey Kong. Yeah. And at that point, it's when it was able to slip through. They tried hitting them still on the spelling, but fair use played through on that. So no, it wasn't an actual spelling thing. They wanted to name it Kong, but then it immediately got shut the fuck down, and they're like, okay,
this is one of like only 3 franchises I can think of where a side character ends up integrating its original character into its cast. There's only a handful of games I could probably think of that do this. Another one is Chrono Trigger. And another one is Golden Sun, where they integrate original characters as side characters later on.
Hell yeah.
But they I remember seeing Donkey Kong in the arcades, like the little ones you could go to, and it would still be popular, like it'd still be there.
Oh yeah.
But then, growing up, I remember, because I grew up with just the SNES, but the NES one was always a go-to because my buddy had it. Yeah. And we'd put that in because you could speed run that fucking game because you remember that fucking controller.
Oh, yeah.
You just hold down that B button, press go, and it's fucking done.
Oh, you're talking about Donkey Kong or the original Super Mario?
The original Super Mario Brothers.
Okay, yeah.
No, Donkey Kong had, you needed to know what the fuck you were doing.
Oh, yeah.
You get smashed.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention on the Super Mario episode that the American version of Super Mario Brothers 2 is not the original Super Mario Brothers 2. So that was originally, I believe, a game called Doki Doki Panic in the Japanese, or Japan rather. And then when they were creating Super Mario 2, it looked exactly like Super Mario 1, just really fucking hard. So like if you've seen Hot Ones, it's like jumping from like the first one to the bomb immediately. It was just like, oh fuck, what is this? And the American branch of Nintendo sent a memo back to the Japan team that was working on the game and was just like, hey,
this game's fucking hard.
Yeah, this is really like hard. And they're like, well, we're releasing it over here. We're like, well, cool, but I don't think we're going to release it here. And they're like, you have to release a Mario game. They're like, you got to figure out something else, man. This is too hard. So they took the game, I believe it was called Doki Doki Panic, and then they reskinned just the main characters. That's it. They reskinned the 4 selectable characters at the very beginning of the game, and then I think they like implemented like the mushrooms and coins. That was it. Enemies like Birdo and other things, and the mice and the bombs, all of that shit that was in that game came from Doki Doki Panic. So all of a sudden, by happenstance, they get a brand new roster of like all these enemies to mess around with.
Yeah, that's another thing about the Mario game was the enemies evolution. Because, we get Goombas in the first one. Koopas. But we get Goombas in the first one, which are like a little mushroom ones that you just stomp on.
Yep.
And then during that game, I think on the second level, you finally meet, a turtle.
Well, you meet Turtle on the first stage, too.
Yeah, but mainly I remember the Goombas because it's always... Remember, it was always spurts of 3.
Yep.
And then it got you used to, it taught you how to just, like, basically hop on top of 3, like do a triple kill. But I can just imagine Mario now, just like with COD, just like triple kill, quad kill, 100 kill, just murdering people, and just Bowser's like, oh my god, he's killing so much things. And I remember some of the what bothered me about some of the game was you were talking about Birdo, weirdest fucking thing that doesn't quite fit the whole vibe of the game was this thing with the hole in its face.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't fit.
Shot eggs.
It doesn't fit. I don't like it. I fucking hate it. And it was just like, later on in some of the other games, we start seeing like wizards and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The game gets fucking ridiculous after that.
And it's like in the properties of each of the characters were the same properties of the original characters in the Doki game. So like how Mario is just kind of like base standard jumps, height, length of jump if you're running, everything else. And then how Luigi's, it's like when you hold down the button, his legs wiggle and it kind of gives him an extra little boost.
Yeah.
Peach kind of can float in the air a little bit.
Yeah, because she's got an umbrella and a dress.
Yeah, but Toad like fell a lot faster, but he had like a further jump, but like it was heavier. All of those mechanics were the original character selections from Doki. But if you played like Super Smash Bros. Melee, you saw that one of Peach's moves is when she jumps, she can hover.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those interesting things that like something that was just kind of semi-handed to them is like a fine, here you go.
Yeah.
So many of those little things have continued to persevere to this day.
Yeah. Well, it kind of happens the same with Mega Man and Contra because there's a couple elements that were used over, and then they put it in Contra 3 Alien Wars for Super Nintendo, and it's just like, that's a Mega Man villain. Holy shit, I just killed a Mega Man villain.
And then we got Super Mario 3, which seems to be the most popular out of the original 3.
Yeah, that was okay. I remember I think they ported it over to SNES.
They did, and we'll get to that one.
No, but it was okay. I played on the SNES more, and it was just a weird game. Of all the other ones, it just felt weird.
So out of the 3, Super Mario 1, 2, and 3, what do you consider your favorite out of that first little bunch?
Fucking 1.
Number 1.
Number 1, because I can just go blow through it so fucking fast.
I've kind of teetered between 1 and 3 because 1 was always the most elusive for me. 1 was the first platformer I played, but because my family moved around a lot, and the only person that had that system was my aunt. So when we moved out of town, further away from my aunt, I didn't have access to the game anymore. And by this point, it was like Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 phase. So I got a brand new Nintendo 64 with Super Mario 64, and then nothing else. Like, she wasn't going to get the old system.
Yeah, there's no reason to.
Nothing else had that original Mario game for the longest time. And then Game Boy started releasing their games.
Yeah.
But it was Super Mario 2 and Super Mario 3 and Super Mario World. The first game was still elusive. So I played Super Mario 3 a lot more on my Game Boy. When that got released, I played the fuck out of that game. But I think I've put in more hours with the first one, and I feel like I have more in an attachment to it because it's like when I finally got my hands on it, it was like I get to play this again. Oh my God, yes, I've been wanting this game ever since I was a kid, like a child again. Even though I was in like my late teens when I got it, or like my early teens, it was still like, I've not played this game in so long, it feels like. So I don't know. It's really hard for me to pick between the first one and the third one. I know the third one better, but I think I had just such a longing infinity for that first one that it still just kind of holds that extra place in my heart.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
No, I understand that. But it's all about what you had growing up too. So like, I went from a Super Nintendo to a fucking GameCube.
Yeah, see, and that's why doing this episode is going to be really fun, because my systems were NES, Nintendo 64, and GameCube.
Yeah.
So you had Super Nintendo and GameCube. So we kind of cross back and forth on that some.
Yeah, like the first video game system I ever used was NES, but it was because my buddy had it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't mine. So when we would play Super Mario Brothers, but then we would stop and play like Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Or like some other fucking ridiculously hard game. That, I think Jacqueline Hyde was the game we played. That was super fucking hard. And we knew people that had Super Nintendos. We knew kids that had Segas. And we were just like, okay, our parents will get us one day. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But the only reason my dad got a Super Nintendo, I think, was because there was 2 games out at the time. It was Madden 95, and there was NCAA college basketball 92. And granted, if anybody gets a chance, look this game up, the NCAA basketball game. It's got the weirdest fucking POV ever for a basketball game, because it's all basketball games are side to side.
Yeah.
No, this is down the court, backing up, down the court, back up, and it's so visceral to play it with these little fucking 16-bit people. And I'm just
that's weird.
Yeah, that's really fucking weird.
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
Like no other game does it anymore. It's fucking shitty.
No, my experience with the Super Nintendo was very far in between, because when my aunt got married to her husband at the time, he had a Sega and a Super Nintendo. And he had Super Mario World, which is the one that your favorite game. He had that one. So I remember playing that some, but since he also had the original Nintendo that my aunt had, I like playing that more because I was used to the physics and the mechanics of the original Super Mario more.
That game's built a lot simpler.
Yes, with World, there was a lot more scooting and like a lot more fluid motion. I was a lot more used to the, as soon as you stop, you fucking stop kind of thing. Not take the extra 3 steps or whatever.
And the power-ups were simpler.
Much simpler. So I didn't spend as much time with that, but that was, and we'll save this for another episode if we keep doing these, but that was also the same time when I found my love for the original Sonic games, because he had a Genesis. Mm-hmm. So playing like the original Sonic 2 or Sonic and Knuckles, that kind of shit, along with like the original Super Nintendo. Those are my only experiences with those consoles.
Yeah.
After that, I never owned a Sega console again. I never owned a Super Nintendo until we have the flashback system that got released, the HDMI version.
Yeah.
So, no, that was my first time actually putting my hands on anything Super Nintendo official since I was an early, young kid. And when I mean young kid, I mean like 4 and 5.
Yeah,
that kind of shit.
So we grew up with it around when I was like 5 or 6, because I remember my sister was born around that time, and we had it. And I remember just trying out later when I was like 10 and 11, back when, I was in the video store more, trying out every fucking SNES game they had. Terminator versus RoboCop, fucking Contra 3, Final Fantasy 3, all these fucking games. Mega Man, all the fucking Mega Man games. Legend of Zelda, that was my first, RPG game, which got me hooked, because there's so much you can do. Holy shit, it's an entire world. It's a sandbox, and Mario is a sandbox when it comes to Super Nintendo, because you can hop around. You start in Yoshi's Island, then go to Donut Island, and you just progress out. Or you could cheat like I did and take Star Wars straight to the fucking end and just beat the piss out the game.
Son of a bitch.
That's how I play the game, because I'm not traveling through these woods. There's a forest I have to go through. Fuck that shit. I'll kill everything. And then the arguments start when you start getting a younger adult, because I remember when I was like 25 arguing with Grayson Flippin about how many fucking lives I could get. I said, I can get 99.
No, you can't.
Oh, okay, put a quarter in the machine, motherfucker. Let's see what happens. And I'm just sitting there playing an original Super Nintendo, not the HDMI, but an original console on a cord, sitting on a coffee table with my buddies, fucking burning one down. I'm just like, done. I would, because in the levels, that's what made the original Super Mario hard. There wasn't a lot of extra lives.
Well, see, you could on the very first level,
but that's it.
Yep, there was a good glitch you could get on that one.
But the average of extra lives on Super Nintendo is 5.
Right.
on each level.
So at least on the original game, I think on the very first level, there's a turtle that's jumping down some like blocks. If you time your jump just right, you'll keep bouncing him off of the side of the block, timing it with your actual bounce. And if you just keep doing that, it'll rack up the bonus. And I think if you hit it's 5 times in a row, you get a 1-up. And it's every time you hit it after that, it's another 1-up. So you could just ride that thing out all the way to 99, and then you're like, yoink.
So Super Mario World had a mechanic where if you killed 12 characters in a row, you would get a 1-up. 13 is a 2-up, 14 is a 4-up.
Okay, so they boosted the number a little bit.
So, and then if you cross the pillars with Yoshi with a fucking purple shell in its mouth, he spits out a life. If you rack up 100 points on the rails, you go to the bonus level where you could rack in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 fucking extra lives, and it's ridiculous. And I just sat there. I didn't even make it all the way through Donut Island. I had 97, and I'm just like, do you want me to keep going? Because if I'm just racking lives, that's all I'm going to do. I'm just keep racking lives. My favorite thing was finding the bricks.
Yes.
That was my shit, because in the original game, you have the yellow brick, the standard yellow brick. Classic. And it carries on into 64. But you don't really see them again, the multicolored bricks, until later on. Yeah. Until Mario Galaxy, which I kind of hated they got rid of. Because, I remember what was the yellow brick?
Coins.
Yellow brick, exclamation point. With the question mark.
Oh, that's just a regular old. You could get like a power up.
Yeah, mushroom.
Yeah. And any sort of power, mushroom, star, flower, any standard thing.
But if you got a green brick, in
Mario 64, it was Metal Mario.
Okay, but in the original Super Mario Brothers, the green brick was a feather.
Okay.
The pink brick was a random. And it would just pop out and change colors. And it would change between a feather, a star, a mushroom, or a flower. And then you got a blue brick. And then you needed these to kind of progress in the game in a really fucked up way. And I remember doing that, and a friend of mine's mom watching me play this. She's like, you don't have all the bricks. Oh, I'm still going to get it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Watch me hop. And she's just like stressing, like watching someone play Mario Maker. And she's like, and I'm just like muscle memorying this shit, like, not even looking down. I'm just muscle memory, because we did it with when everybody was here. And I'm just like the first and just
I was like, God damn,
5 lives, motherfucker. I will kill again.
No, I put in a lot of hours on this one too, because again, a lot of my exposure to these early Mario games, because as I mentioned, she got me the 64 and only the new consoles moving forward, so I didn't have a chance to really play the old shit until I bought them on my own. So a lot of my availability of playing these games were the Super there was the Game Boy Advance editions, and it was like the Super Mario Advance 1, 2, 3, and 4. But like Super Mario Advance 1 was Super Mario 2 from NES.
Yeah.
Super Mario Advance 2 was Super Mario World.
Yeah.
I think.
No, it's fucking confusing.
Yes, and it all jumped around back and forth, so none of the numbers lined up. But I do remember one of them by chance happened to be the Super Mario World game. And I played that one more than the Mario 3. I played Mario 3 because it was just fun and nostalgic. Oh, first console game. This one, though, after getting over the weird mechanics, not liking it as a kid, this game never left my Game Boy. Like, as soon as I turned on my Game Boy, this is what was on it. And this is how I was rocking it out. So it was weird. Even though I didn't have the experience on Super Nintendo, everything that's why I was just letting you ride, because I quote everything you just said. I was the exact same way, muscle memorying that shit, fucking car rides at home. I had the fucking GameCube sitting on my shelf. I was laying on my bed playing my Game Boy or the Game Boy Player on the GameCube, playing that fucking game all fucking day, dude. That was my shit. I love that game.
See, the problem I had with when the SP came out.
Well, hold on, fool. We get to get to the game.
Well, hold on, because I used advanced games, but like you had the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. The problem I had was when they did the retro series with the Advance, Game Boy Advance, it was all the shitty ones that was available to buy. Like, I played Legend of Zelda 2, Link's Adventure. That's a terrible game. And it's fucking hard for no fucking reason. And I remember trying to find a Super Mario Brother. That's one thing I didn't play on Game Boy, was Super Mario games.
Yeah.
I didn't like them. I didn't like the way they're set up. I didn't like looking at a tiny fucking screen trying to play something I played at home on a television. And it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. But the Game Boy Advance, started getting triggers and shit. And I'm just like...
And a wider screen.
Yeah. And I'm just like, nope, it's still shit. I don't like it. I fucking don't like it. Because remember, like, all the peripheral bullshit you needed for Game Boys just to make it look good?
Oh, God.
Before the SP?
We'll get the Game Boys. We'll get the Game Boys.
I'm just saying, it's I don't consider the Game Boy good Mario content.
So, trust me, we'll do an actual Game Boy episode. We'll talk about Game Boys in this episode also.
We'll smash some.
Yes.
I'll buy a Game Boy Pocket Crystal and just smash the shit out of it.
No. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Alex will be tied to a chair. Cap will be like crying in the back. Oh, I don't like this.
Cap won't know what the fuck it is.
But he'll be the one with the gun.
So he'll be crying.
You shoot him in the knee if he comes at me.
Shortly after Super Mario World, we did get Mario Paint.
Yeah,
did you ever play that one?
I played it later in life.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's fun.
Yeah. And we also got the birthplace of one of the most popular Mario games ever. The first version, Super Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Did you play that one at all?
I'm not a Mario Kart person. Oh. I don't like racing games.
I am a Mario Kart fiend. I bought the season pass to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so I get all the new tracks that are coming out, dude. I will play the fuck out of Mario Kart.
The first one I ever saw was on Super Nintendo. I didn't like it.
That was this one.
Yeah, I don't like playing it.
Really?
I'm not a Super Mario Party. Like when the Switch came out and the Wii came out and you got the steering wheel and all this shit, everybody's like, oh man, Chris, play the Mario Kart game with us. And I played one level. I won it. And I didn't want to play it no more because I'm just like, I don't like racing games. I told you guys I don't fucking like this shit.
Leave me the fuck alone, God.
How about we play Call of Duty?
I want to shoot some motherfuckers. No, I got very little experience with this at all. I didn't. My aunt and uncle didn't have this one on their system. It never really got re-released on any of the Game Boy games. I got experience with this one time with a friend that had the console. We played a few rounds and I didn't like it then. But then most recently with the new HDMI ports, I got to play it again. And it still sucks. I do not like this game. And I feel so bad for folks that had this game. Because there were other... Like, I know you're not a racing game fan. But for the original NES, there was a game called... I think it was called Racing Pro-Am or something like that.
For what system?
Do what?
For what system?
The original Nintendo. NES.
Okay.
I've got it upstairs. It's a fun game. I think it's called Racing Pro-Am or something like that. And basically you're racing little RC cars.
Okay.
And it's fun as hell. It's great. This Super Mario Kart is not fun. Yeah. It's clunky. The mechanics are weird. It doesn't drive right. I don't know. I did not enjoy this game.
Yeah, I don't. I never got into it. The only racing game I liked was the ending level of Super Monkey Ball 2.
And then shortly after that is now what we get to talk about, talking about those bad ports. Super Mario All-Stars. So Super Mario All-Stars.
No, I had that one.
Yes. So what this was is Super Mario 1, 2, and 3 re-released into one cartridge for the Super Nintendo with all updated graphics and mechanics to mimic Super Mario World.
Trash.
Absolute garbage. This this also was very elusive for a long time, the Super Mario All-Stars. And I finally got to play it, and
I remember like all my friends had that game.
It felt so weird playing the original NES Super Mario Brothers with those graphics.
Yeah.
Like recognizing the layout of knowing the lay of the land with those graphics. It felt really off and really weird.
No bueno on my end.
I did find out later on in life though that these Game Boy ports I've been talking about are All-Star ports. So I was playing the All-Star version of Super Mario 3 and
Yeah.
Super Mario 2 on the Game Boy. So I thought that was interesting. And one thing to note, though, in All-Stars, they did create a mechanic that was specific to that. I think for Super Mario 3, which was the item save system. So if you got an abundance of items, you could actually save them in like a dock to use right before you went into a stage. So that was kind of an interesting little addition.
Yeah.
But no, outside of that, I really was not a fan of All-Stars.
Yeah, so I remember having All-Stars and just getting frustrated with it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you get the different characters and stuff, and it's just like... Street Fighter does this. Because
Well, there weren't extra characters.
Yeah, but like Street Fighter did this, where they would make Street Fighter 2, and then it would come out like a week later, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And it's just like, what the fuck is different? And it's just like, oh no, there's a turbo system in it. Or no, there's something, just a little tweak.
The Turbo graphics card is in it.
Yeah, there's just a little tweak in it. I'm just like, what is All-Star about this?
Yeah.
Nothing.
All the updated graphics.
Nothing, not a goddamn thing.
It looks like Super Mario World. Everyone loves Super Mario World, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It pissed me off when I played the Super Mario World part and it was trash.
And shortly after that, we also on the we got Mario and Wario. That game.
Those were weird games.
It was a puzzle platformer game.
Yeah, and around that time I had Dr. Mario. I remember having both those games.
Uh-huh.
Because that was just like popping pills and dropping. It was Tetris. And pills.
And actually fun, I was looking this up. You actually got to use the mouse peripheral that was used for Mario Paint.
Yeah.
And it looks like it was an only. So I think you probably played a port or probably a download of this game because this was actually a Famicom exclusive on over in Japan.
No, this was a red and white cartridge that I got from. It was an EB Games. No, ENG Games in Statesville. It ended up becoming the GameStop, but it was
Everything becomes a GameStop.
Yeah, and a CVS or a Walgreens. But no, he had the cartridge, and I bought it because I'd saved up, and I was just like, I want to still buy SNES games, and it was a red and white cartridge. And I remember playing it on the television.
Well, if it was a red and white cartridge, that was Japan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so there are a handful of cartridges that are just off color.
Yeah.
Like you had the black cartridges, which were usually games that were going to get banned, but you did have the red and white cartridges that were ported over, translated, and then stamped by Nintendo. And then you had the bootleg ones, which were off gray.
Yeah.
That didn't have the Nintendo engraving on the casing. Those were fun because you didn't know if they worked or not.
And then later on that year, we got Donkey Kong Country in 1994.
Me and Cap sat here and played that fucking game, and he was stoked.
Oh, yeah. Donkey Kong Country was really fun.
Yeah. There was a short time, though, when they did Donkey Kong and stuff like that, and Konami and stuff like that. Just like try to do exclusively Sega stuff, and it fucked everything up.
Yeah. So we could do a Donkey Kong episode if we wanted, but no. So I figured it was at least important to mention that Donkey Kong Country did come out around that time, and in '95 we got Super Mario World 2: Yoshi's Island.
See, I don't like the Yoshi Island games.
I didn't either.
Cap turned me on to them because we have the HD
Super Nintendo, and we sat here and played a little bit of it. And I'm just like, when I was a kid, I probably wouldn't have liked it. Even though, like, you had your mainstay games growing up when it came to the older systems. Uh-huh.
And I imagine you had the mainstays with 64 because of the cartridges and stuff. But that wasn't one I would ever want.
No.
Mine was strictly Street Fighter, Zelda, and Mario. And maybe Killer Instinct if no one fucked it up.
So, I guess it would just be kind of... It feels like only one good Mario game came out for the Super Nintendo then, which was Mario World.
Yeah. Well, for us... Like,
yes.
There are people who are diehard Mario Kart fans.
Yeah.
And I respect
not that game, though. I don't feel like there's a lot of fans for that game.
Yeah, there actually is a big push for that. I ended up going to the Mothlight in Asheville, and they were having a whole fucking tournament with fucking SNES, 4 controllers, like just lit the fuck up. And then...
SNES only allowed 2. You might be thinking Nintendo 64.
They had, no, it was 2 consoles.
Okay.
It was 2 consoles and 2 TVs.
Got it.
Because then the guy came in, they did that, and then brought in 2 N64s, and then 2 guys are on each console doing Mario Kart on 64.
Got it.
And then they were going to bring in the Wii because they had the
nunchucks. Yeah.
Well, they had
the steering wheels.
Yeah, everyone they bought their own steering wheels, which I thought
of course they did.
I'm just like, I'm playing like Turtles in Time with my buddy, and I'm just like, you got any more quarters? Nah, man, I bought too much beer.
And then the glorious year of 1996, the Nintendo 64 was leashed upon North America with the title of Super Mario 64 with it. And I will tell you, man,
PlayStation was better.
fuck off.
Fuck you, I hate you.
Fuck you and your PlayStation and your Xbox and all that bullshit. Because this right here, Super Mario 64, has to be my number one, not even Mario game, my number one favorite game. This to me epitomized the idea of I like video games. Because I remember getting the Nintendo 64 for Christmas. And with that, she included Mario Kart, Namco Museum, which had a whole bunch of the old arcade games.
Like Pac-Man and shit like that.
Yeah.
Doug.
And my stepfather picked out Cruisin' USA. So we had those games starting out. So Mario Kart, Namco Museum, and Cruisin' USA. And I remember a few weeks later, we took a trip over to the Blockbuster, and they were renting out Nintendo 64 games. And I remember seeing the commercial, specifically, oddly enough, and you can find it on YouTube, the Mario Got Milk commercial. I remember that as clear as day, where motherfucker jumps out of the TV, raises the fucking cabinet, drinks the milk, and then jumps back in the TV. It's a weird fucking commercial. But I remember seeing that and being like, I want to play that game. Sure as shit, it was at Blockbuster, and she rented it for me. And finally, after like the third time of renting it, she finally bought it for me, because it's like we kept getting like late fees because I was just like not wanting to give it back. Because the bullshit thing was like I would get to a certain point in the game, then I would have to return it, and I would lose the save file, because the save file is saved on the cartridge. Yeah. and they would wipe the fucking cartridge every time they got it in. So I had to work from scratch. So finally I begged and begged and begged, and she finally got it for me. And I got to ask her, because I'll probably be seeing her sometime this weekend or next weekend, what she thought after she got me that game. Because I know that was a turning point. That was like the moment I realized I really like games. And I remember locking not literally, but just locking myself in my room for hours and hours playing that game. Alex, what are you doing? I'm playing Mario. You need to come eat. 1 minute. Eat now. I can't. I'm going to listen. But the thing was that she's like the cool mom that like kind of stayed updated with technology, and she's like, bullshit, you have a save file now, save it. Because she knew on the old systems you didn't have save files. She knew we did now, and she's like, bullshit, save it. I know you have the save file. I'm like, god damn it.
No,
fine.
Like you know, I haven't had much experience with the 64. The first game I actually played on the N64 was South Park's Turkey Shoot, and that was wild. But I just don't like the controller. But I remember watching friends play it. I remember growing up, though, I think it was like probably third grade, a handful of kids had it, had the 64. And there was all this speculation going around. And it wasn't until recently I watched that thing, all these videos about it. But it's like, oh, no, you could get Luigi. You could do all this. And then you start, like, there's this one girl on YouTube. She's sitting with this dude, and he's trying to do the backwards jump up the stairs, and he can't do it. And he just, like, hands the controller to her. And
she
just
knocks it out
like,
one take.
Bun. And he's just like, fuck you. and I remember thinking, like, yeah, I can imagine that would just be fucking brutal, because the internet is just now starting to get popular, and like all these people just doing these blogs and forums, just like, oh no, there's an extra star. Oh no, there's a blue star. Oh no, if you play the game like this, you could get Yoshi, or you play the game like this, you could get Luigi. And I'm just like, That is so much fun.
And that is one of the reasons why it drew me in so much. Because I remember playing the other Mario games, and it's like, there were certain fun things you could figure out. Like, if you hit the right item block, all of a sudden you got like a Jack and the Beanstalk thing all the way up in the sky, and you got like bonus coins and all this other shit. So there was always fun little Easter eggs to be found. In Mario 64, it felt like there was no way there was this much world in this cartridge.
Yeah.
Yet you kept peeling back all these layers, finding all these hidden little things, and it's like, it kind of, to the kids' imagination that you're just proving wrong every which way, you start kind of believing, well, shit, anything could be possible in these games.
Yeah.
So you start believing, oh, wow, maybe if I do play this game the right way, I can get Luigi. Because we found out there is Yoshi. If you get all the stars, you get the cannon, you can shoot up to the top of the castle, and fucking Yoshi's up there. Luigi's got to be here too.
Yeah.
You know what? Why would Yoshi be here and not Luigi? Oh my God, we've got to find him. Where's my brother? You know, so it's like you go on this thing where all of a sudden, because you're going on the Fool's mission of trying to find Luigi, you wind up finding all the other little secrets.
Yeah.
And that only adds to it, because some of those secrets you probably wouldn't find unless you were trying to grind to find Luigi or Yoshi or some other little hidden myth. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a hidden item box here. And then you do the other crazy things. So no, that game just really opened up that world of imagination of just like, video games can be a lot of fucking fun, and there can be a lot of hidden gems in it.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over it, but I played it later in life. And you talk about a Mario game with a lot of hidden shit in it. Mario and the 7 Stars. Did you ever play that?
Oh, the RPG.
Okay, so this game is either really, really liked by Mario fans or really, really fucking hated, because Square Enix got involved with this fucking game, and it is a turn-based, RPG game.
Yeah.
But fuck, the graphics were fantastic for an SNES game, and I remember playing that game, and there's so much little shit in that game as Easter eggs, and then you see people go and play it. It's like, there's a guy who speedruns that game, and it either pisses people off, or they're just like, there's no way in hell his fingers are fast enough to do that one move. And because the game stops and you start doing one-on-one turn-based fighting, and you start collecting people while you're going. Bowser's one of the people you go against, but then you collect him in your party.
You are mine, bitch.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like a Pokemon game almost. But you end up fighting a Final Fantasy character, and keep in mind, this is before Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
They fight Bahamut, which is in the Final Fantasy 2, and I'm just like, he just shows the fuck up with the 7 stars, and people just lost their fucking shit because there's no way in hell you can beat them. You don't have power-ups, you don't have nothing, and it's just like, you watch these people play this game, and Osborne is the one who turned me on to this game, but he still had the Nintendo Power magazine that shows you how to beat them.
Oh, shit.
So he whipped that motherfucker out when Grayson showed up with the SNES. He had Legend of the 7 Stars. Well, put it in. Let's see what we got. And then I'm just like, I have an emulator. And we can put a code in.
Yeah.
Where you get all the characters at once. It's like, it just beat the shit out the game.
Well, say, I'm glad you brought that up, because, yeah, I completely forgot about that one. And you saw me kind of feverishly scrolling through my list.
It's not a popular game.
Well, I was sitting here going, I was like, I couldn't have overlooked that. Did they not include it on the list? It was sandwiched in between Donkey Kong Country 2 and Donkey Kong Country 3. Mm-hmm. And each one of those also have long secondary names. Yeah. So it was sandwiched in between like a bunch of fucking long titles, because that one's Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars, which takes up a little bit of space.
Yeah, I think this was back when, before Square Enix. It was back when it was just Square.
Yep.
And it's a neat game, and it's like, it seems like something like some engineers in a room came up together and it's like, hey guys, these are guys from Final Fantasy. Oh man, you guys made a great game. I heard you're making your 3rd one. Oh yeah, hey, how's Super Mario going? Pretty good. And it's just like 4 drinks, 4 or 5 rounds later, it's just like, you guys want to make this into a game? Fuck yeah, I do. It's just a drunken massacre of a game.
But back into Nintendo 64. So yeah, Mario 64 released in 96, and at the tail end of 96, December 96, you got Welcome to Mario Kart. Again, I remember this
Trash.
intro as clear as day. It's Christmas morning, my dude. Shut the fuck up.
If I was Krampus,
But no,
you would get South Park's turkey shoot.
as much as I love Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, I have more memories with. Like, I have more, like, one-on-one time with Super Mario 64.
Yeah, it's super popular.
Yes. But I have more memories around Mario Kart 64 because that was the game Mom would play with me.
Yeah.
So my stepdad would play Cruisin' USA and Namco Museum because he liked playing Galaga. So we would play back and forth on Galaga, so he would get like past like level 6, 7, 8, and shit like that. But Mom, she enjoyed Mario Kart, specifically Moo Moo Farm. So she would play Moo Moo Farm over and over and over. And it's like, it was fun in the moment, but like now being a teenager, or God, I still say teenager, a fucking adult. Goddamn. Now being like a goddamn adult, I wish I could be a fly on the wall and like see Mom with that video game controller playing with me as a child. Like, I wish someone had gotten a photo of that.
See, my mom never played video games. My dad did. My dad was fucking hooked on that shit because we'd play Madden 95.
Yeah.
And it was weird because, you know, I know you don't know much about sports, but Madden used to be the coach of the Oakland Raiders. It could be the Steelers versus the Falcons, but randomly in the middle of the game, Oakland goes to timeout. It's like, what? The fuck did Oakland call it? They're not even playing in the game. And it was just like, what the fuck? And I remember my dad, I think I saw my dad play Mario, I think once or twice, and he didn't like it. But we ended up playing Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yeah.
And then he really didn't like it when I started realizing what you can do with that game.
Yeah.
But no, like growing up, my parents never really got into it. It wasn't until the GameCube where my dad got back into it. But the 64, we kind of just skipped over that one growing up because I wasn't home a lot. The controller always bothered me.
Everyone bitches about the controller.
I don't like it's not ergonomical.
It's fine. You can only put your hand in two places at once anyway, and your right hand is always on the far right side of the thing. So basically, you're just choosing: do you want the fucking circular joystick or do you want a D-pad? Pick one. That's all it is. There's no right hand going on the middle one. There's none of that. It's just right hand on your A and B side, and then your left hand on either your middle or your far left.
I'll say this. Out of the pantheon of Nintendo controllers, it's the best weapon. If I started flailing that fucking thing around, you'd back the fuck up.
But no, Mario 64, I enjoyed that one a lot. I actually wound up playing that one again. It's now out on the Switch Virtual Console. They've got a Nintendo 64 channel now. So I've been playing that one again. It's fun. I really do enjoy that. But we also got Diddy Kong Racing along with Yoshi's Story. But then in 1998... the beginning of so many failed friendships began in 1998. Chris, can you guess what game came out in 1998 that started ruining friendships all across the world?
Probably Smash Brothers.
Mario Party.
Mario. Oh no, those games suck.
Oh, you don't like Mario Party?
No.
Oh, dude.
No, those games fucking suck.
I'm a Mario fanboy. I love Mario Party. The first few on Nintendo 64 may have not been as great, but by the time they got the GameCube, which we'll get to, dude, they were fun. Those things rocked. The 64 ones, can be a little repetitive, can be a little slow. The boards weren't that great. They were at least 3 in this time frame. The first one came out in 98, second one in 99, third one in 2000. Yeah. And each one just was a slight variation of the former. But I will say, the reason why they turned out really quick from 98 to 99 for Mario Party 2, and I mean really fucking fast, like literally a year, was because in the very first Mario Party, there was a lot of mini games. So the way it's kind of set up is like for folks that have not played, essentially Mario Party is you're playing this large board game. If you land on a blue spot, you get 3 coins. If you land on a red spot, you get -3 coins. Your overall objective is to get 20 coins, get a star. The person with the most stars at the end of the game wins. Pretty basic rules. After everyone rolls a turn, lands on their space, you play a minigame. If everyone lands on the same color space, it's a 4-player minigame. If, say, one person lands on a red space, 3 people land on a blue space, it's a 1 versus 3 minigame. Same thing with 2 red, 2 blue, 2 versus 2.
Yeah.
In those minigames, it could be anything from like rapidly press the A button to charge up a battery, to set something up, or whatever, balance your character. Well, in the very first game, there was a lot that required the brand new technology for the time, because this was before the first PlayStation, and even the first PlayStation still didn't have this. They had the center joystick that was on a rotating axis, which is the very first time any game controller implemented this. Yeah. So why not use this brand new technology in our brand new party game? And a lot of them required you moving the stick in a 360-degree rotation very fast.
Yep.
So in order to do this, one uses the palm of their hand.
Yep.
Like this, really fast on the fucking game controller.
And then break that goddamn joystick.
Better than that, I shit you not, Chris. Reports were coming in of children rubbing their palms raw.
Yeah.
And in order to avoid a lawsuit, Nintendo issued every person that filed a complaint of sores on their hands got a free Nintendo gaming glove. Mm-hmm. And they decided to continue and cease production. They didn't recall, but they ceased production of the first Mario Party game. Mario Party 2 is essentially the very first Mario Party game with a few tweaked mini games and a couple new boards. They spit it out that fucking quick.
I could just imagine, like, it seems like, you got people just fucking rubbing their hands on it.
Yeah.
I could tell you as a kid, I would have just done this. I would have just took the controller, flipped it, and just like...
on your leg.
On my leg, just fucking break till I break that motherfucker.
But no,
or I would have done it in the hole.
Ew. So yeah, not much to say on the first original 3. I'll say that for the GameCube era. But man, I'm talking about fucking hit after hit. I'm surprised you guys skipped over the 64, because as Mario Party released in December of 98, in January of 99, you got Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And man, holy shit. I remember when this came out. And like it was brand new on the shelves.
The ad was fucking fantastic.
The ad I loved. You had Donkey Kong, Mario, Pikachu.
Link.
No, it wasn't Link. It was another. I think it may have been Luigi. I think it may have been Donkey Kong, Mario, Luigi, and Pikachu. They're all skipping through this fucking meadow to like the so happy together.
Oh, it was a live action commercial.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they're all in their suits and they're all skipping through the meadow. And like someone takes the fucking first swing and all of a sudden that's just like they are all fighting it out. Melee. And then you get like the voiceover. Not everything is happy in the Mushroom Kingdom.
No.
Play the new Super Smash Bros. Game on Nintendo 64. Mm-hmm. Fuck you, we're Nintendo.
Yeah. Nah, that's just another game I never got into. Even when the GameCube came out, I didn't quite get into it until my second go around.
Yeah.
Because I think the 64 had a lot of amazing shit attached to it.
Oh yeah, because immediately after that, because we can just kind of wrap this up with your conversation. So after this, we got Mario Golf, Donkey Kong 64, Mario Party 2, Mario Tennis, Paper Mario, which is kind of like Mario RPG Part 2, then Mario Party 3, and Dr. Mario 64. So yeah, a decent amount of
it's their flagship
games.
Flagship character. By that point, super flagship character. But I remember the tail end of the 64 when the GameCube came out. I think it was like a year after the GameCube came out. My dad had finally bought one. Mm-hmm. And it was, same thing my parents did. It was a box. Yeah. Everything in one box. I opened this fucking box up. Let me tell you about this GameCube I got. It was black. Came with a black controller and a second black controller. Came with the Game Boy attachment. Came with Spider-Man the movie, the game. Mario Sunshine. And this is the first like 3D, concept game I've ever played with Mario like this. And holy shit, I got so addicted to this fucking game and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And I remember playing this, and then my buddy brought over Super Smash Brothers Melee. He's like, "Oh man, you got to try this. It's all these players." And I'm just like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't like it." But fucking Mario Sunshine is the shit. It gets a lot of hate too. When you read like some of the reviews about it, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
Coming out of people who were just playing like 64 like a few years before.
I know, right?
And I think a lot of it was because the same kind of thing with 64 was you couldn't get Luigi, you couldn't do this and this, and there was all this like suspect shit people were talking about, like, oh no, Yoshi's in it and you can do this, or no, Bowser's in it, you do this, and no, you can't. Just shut the fuck up. No, you can't.
Kiss my ass.
It's a lie. But I remember finally coming around and playing Smash Brothers with him, and there was one Mario Party game we had. I just never played it except for once or twice. And those games aren't fun when you're just playing by yourself.
Yeah,
it doesn't make much sense. But Mario Kart had came out again for that one. We had that one, but I actually liked Sonic Racers better, and it was just like a mini game inside of another Sonic Adventures game. That was more fun.
So I'm trying to figure out when I got my GameCube, because I remember this very clearly. I remember the year I got my 64. I want to say it was Christmas of '99.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my 64 pretty late.
Yeah.
And I feel like I remember, because the GameCube came out in 2001. Holidays of 2001, September 91. 2001 rather. I feel like I remember Mom distinctly going, "No, I just bought you a new system. They already just put out another new one. I'm not getting that one too."
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. So I know I didn't get it at launch.
I got it in October, the first week of October in 2003.
Man, I really feel like that's around the time I did, because I was looking up some other things, because I remember the Christmas vividly. It was a Christmas at my grandparents' in Concord. I know that I was big into punk rock. I know I was big into Spider-Man. I know that the first Spider-Man movie had already come out, but I was looking up the release date of Spider-Man 2 because I feel like that one maybe hadn't come out yet. No, that had not come out yet. So it was before 2004. So yeah, I feel like it was around that time period. But man,
So what did you get? Did you just get the base system in a game?
Oh, dude. No. This is the first year they did it up right with a game system. Most years with the game system, it's like you get the system plus a game. And it's like Merry Christmas, enjoy kind of thing. They did it up right with this system. I guess they understood like how much I was into gaming at this point, and they were like, this is a worthwhile investment. He's going to get time out of this. Kind of similar thing. One huge box, but each thing was wrapped inside. So opened up the big box, and there was like the GameCube box, and then like 2 to 3 smaller boxes, and then a medium-sized box, and then like another medium-sized box. And I'm like, what the fuck is all this? And they're like kind of like pointing out, they're like, well, when you open up the first thing, you're going to kind of know what it all is. So like, why don't you start with the bigger square one? Open that up. It's the silver GameCube with the silver controller. And I'm just like, oh my God, yes. And then they're like, all right, open that one. Now open that up. It's a black extra controller. So now I've got a silver and black console. And I'm just like, yes. And they're like, okay, you probably know what the other little smaller things are. So go and open those up. Open those up. It's Luigi's Mansion, Super Smash Brothers Melee, and Sunshine. And I'm just like, the Holy Trinity. Yes. And so now I'm just like, there's one more box. And I'm just like, the fuck is this? And they're like, all right, open that one up. Open it up. It's the Game Boy player. Dude, they racked me up with this Christmas.
So there was 2 things I forgot to mention on mine.
Okay.
There was the Game Boy player. All right. And I had racked in some advanced games by that time. But there was a purple case in it, but it was small, very small. It wasn't the same size as the DVD case of the more.
It was the boot up disc.
It was an AR replay. It was the Game Genie for because it came with a special memory card. So also with this was Metroid Prime, Madden 04, NCAA 04, Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man game, Mario Sunshine. I ended up trading one of those games for Luigi's Mansion.
I forgot the original Spider-Man game was part of that as well.
Because in the game, if you entered Sam Raimi's name in backwards, it was like a special thing. I think you get to play as Green Goblin or some shit. But anyway, there was one more thing. It was the Easy Play GameCube Nintendo bag.
Oh shit! I remember that thing.
The book bag. You could fit your GameCube.
Oh, you look like such a dork, but it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, because it was rainbow colors. it was bright yellow, red, blue, and green with purple trim.
It was so gaudy, dude. It was horrible.
We were going to the beach that month, and so I got my GameCube in there. Which, by the way, GameCube, solid fucking console,
fucking killer.
It's a weapon.
It is. It's got a handle.
It's got a handle. Oh, all I could think of was that Marilyn Manson song "Lunchbox." So I was like, I cut my lunchbox and I'm on real well, and it's like, bop, bop, bop.
I got my GameCube.
And my dad actually, he bought the Spider-Man game used. So when he bought the system, he bought a memory card because he was told to buy a memory card.
Yeah.
I opened up the Spider-Man game. There's a memory card in it.
Oh shit!
So now I got 2 in there, and it's like the memory system on the GameCube I think was a lot better because it was a lot more manageable, and stuff like that.
Use bits,
and like it wasn't as corruptible as the PlayStation 2 one because those were kind of chunky and they were fragile until like PlayStation realized what the fuck was wrong.
Right,
but no, that was like all this shit, and I remember packing in this fucking bag, and it's like, oh no, you got a spot just for your games.
Yeah.
You got a spot just for your memory cards and just for your fucking thing. Manuals. And like all this bullshit. And I'm just like, yep, it all fits in the bag. It all fits in the bag.
And man, as much as I have such a love for like the Nintendo 64 and like the original like Game Boy Pocket and stuff like that, the GameCube was when I felt like a gamer.
Yeah.
Because this was the era I was going online and looking at forums, looking up cheat codes. Around this time period, guess what was on TV? G4 TV. And it's like all of a sudden, it's like all this gaming culture was so much easier to find. Mom had a job at the mall where she'd take me to work on the weekends. Guess what was at the mall? Fucking EB Games. So I would just hang out in this game store all day long looking at the different games and go home, watch G4, watch X-Play, watch Attack of the Show. It's like I was just getting all this gaming content just cycled into me. And it's like if I go over and look in those old GameCube games, you'll still find like we ran out of printer paper. So I pulled out notebook paper from my notebooks and printed off cheat sheets so I could still fucking play the games.
You remember the cheat books?
Dude,
they were like thick like Bibles, man. And then it'd always be like, they were like, oh, it's lime green, purple, and like all of the new games had the cheats in there. I remember Tony Hawk's Underground 2. If you typed in Pelican, you get to play as the guy with the wheelchair.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was like so much. It was Infinite Grind, and so like you never had to use the balance thing. I remember playing those fucking games, and the GameCube, because I had the Game Boy player installed underneath it,
it was a perfect square.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wasn't.
Yeah, but like I would look at the bottom of it, I'm just like, what's all this other bullshit for? And you find out later in life what it is for. And then they had like one port that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That it was just like a peripheral.
It was supposed to be for something and they never made it.
But I remember my buddy, he got it like a year later. And he had the one with the screen you can mount on top of the GameCube.
Dude.
This motherfucker had travel play and shit. And it was because you put it into the AC adapter into your car. And just like, if your dad cuts his car off and that GameCube's still playing, you're going to kill his fucking car. You're going to just zap the battery on that motherfucker. But, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and start running through some of the games, though. Very first time in Nintendo history, they did not launch with a quote-unquote Mario game. Yeah. They actually launched with Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah. Luigi's Mansion is fantastic.
Dude, fucking great game.
And like, but I will say, like, if I had to choose, Mario Sunshine would probably be the one I had to choose.
Yeah, but before we even got Mario Sunshine, we got Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah.
Which, again, interesting choice for like September of 2001, November of 2001, we get Luigi's Mansion and Super Smash Brothers Melee. It wasn't until mid to late 2002, like August, or actually not, July, sorry. It wasn't until July did we get Super Mario Sunshine in 2002. So that's kind of a bold move. Almost a year into the GameCube's lifespan, they're like, okay, here's your Mario game.
And what was cool was when these games came out in PlayStation and Xbox, really, I remember seeing the little purple check, a little purple triangle on every cartridge, only for GameCube. And it was just like, if you had those, that was the shit. This is the one thing your friends can't have because they have a PlayStation or Xbox. And PlayStation did the same thing. Then really quickly, I noticed greatest hits redos, like it was like a redistribution. It was like, oh no, Mario Sunshine's Nintendo's greatest hit, or Luigi's Mansion greatest hits, stuff like that. And I was like, man, you're just just repackaging. That's all it was.
But it's repackaging at a discount.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad because that was right before they started fucking around and charging full price for games all the time.
We'll see. But if you ask Scott the Woz, those suck because you had the yellow siding, so it messes up the color scheme when everything's lined up against the shelf, which I do have to semi-agree with because
he has schizophrenia. What does he know? He got mad because of a box.
I do too.
And I'm just like, I understand if you buy like a DVD collection, but like he got mad because of a box that got like squished, and I'm just like, it's a Switch game. Who gives a shit?
No, any game fans out there, definitely check out Scott the Woz. I fucking love that. He's amazing.
Yeah, he has schizophrenia.
He is amazingly entertaining.
He has non-professionally diagnosed schizophrenia.
But yeah, Sunshine though, that was another fun one. I remember putting in a lot of time on this one, but honestly, I feel like at one point I got fed up with Sunshine. Like there was a level that I just couldn't get past.
Well, like the levels in the game when you go down like the tunnels and stuff like that, when you got shot out, not in the main thing, when you didn't really have to use your water gun basically, was a preamble for Mario Galaxy.
Yep.
That's all it is. And I had a buddy of mine pay me money to drive him to Virginia Beach. And it was a one-night thing. I drive him to Virginia Beach. We leave at fucking 7 o'clock at night, drive to Virginia Beach, and I come back.
Yeah.
He paid me a lot of money to do this. We get there, and I need to crash. And I'm crashing on his buddy's couch. And it's like 3 in the morning, and they're playing fucking Mario Sunshine. And I'm like, here, give me the controller. I had the purple controller. And granted, GameCube had the best controller.
Oh, yeah. Those left and right triggers.
But like in gaming history to me, that's the best controller. Like the Xbox is great.
I was gonna say 360, man. 360 had an amazing controller.
Xbox One, 360, whatever. But to me, the feel of the GameCube, just because I got so used to it, and the camera stick was a little bit different. Mm-hmm. You had the 2 analog sticks, but I was just sitting here playing muscle memory, fucking Mario Sunshine. I'm just like, there's one, ding. And these guys, they're younger guys, so they grow up with it, but they grew up with like Galaxy and the Wii and shit.
Right.
But no, it was fantastic. I fucking love that game.
No, and I remember it first being a little bit bothered by the game, like a little bit annoyed. And this goes to show, like, even as a kid, I had a certain mind frame of how things were supposed to be. And if it wasn't like that, I was going to have a problem with it until you could change my mind.
You're a bigot.
I did not like the fact that Mario had a backpack on.
Yeah.
That fucked with me. I was like, no, I'm playing a Mario game. He's supposed to just be Mario. When I walk, I want to see the back of fucking overalls. I want to see this fucking flood unit.
Luigi's wearing a backpack vacuum.
Well, that was a little bit more okay because
he's a bastard brother, that's why.
But with Mario, I was like, no, I don't want this fucking backpack on him. Why does all these fucking games have to have backpacks? Fuck this. So yeah, so for the first like maybe couple minutes of playing the game, I was just like, ugh. But then there, like you said, there was a few levels where it's like, the Shadow Mario, which wound up being Koopa Jr. would like take the backpack, and you had to do like the proto Mario Galaxy levels. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're fine. I like this game now. We're good. Good. I like Flood. Flood's
and
cool.
It really tested the GameCube's way of doing water. The way Luigi's Mansion kind of did transparency really well, and plus, the levels in Mario and the levels in Luigi's Mansion, totally different feel.
Well, and that's what I was going to get at. I was like, so it feels like at some point I just kind of gave up on Mario Sunshine. Like after a level or two, I was just like, I can't get through these.
It was hated by a lot of people.
But honestly, I remember kind of reliving some of my Mario 64 days with Luigi's Mansion, because it's like, it felt like with Luigi's Mansion, they were almost inviting you to come look through everything, find all the secrets in the mansion. So it's like they're kind of leading me in to want to do that. And so this is I probably spent more wandering time in Luigi's Mansion.
This is one of those things I can't watch people play, because I'm just like, I fucking hate the way you play this game.
I've witnessed it firsthand.
Yeah, I don't like the way you play this game. It bothers me. Left.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, get fucked. I'm done.
And after that, we did get Mario Party 4, which I didn't play. We also got Wario World and Mario Golf. And then we get Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yes, that was super fucking popular. People.
Yes. That one was fun, although I will say the graphics on it are a bit weird. When you go back and re-look at the video footage and game footage of that game, it's very odd graphics. Like
now,
all the character models looked a little off.
Now, is that the one that does like a slow-mo once you cross the finish line of like, or like it does like a flashback of like if you hit somebody with a blue shell, the game kind of like
that's on the newest game.
Yeah, because I love watching the memes of that of just Luigi just fucking stone cold looking at a motherfucker.
Yeah,
like,
that's in Mario Kart 8. Yeah, 8 Deluxe.
8's very popular.
Yeah,
but
Double Dash though, this was fun because Mario Kart's always fun when you're playing at least with one friend, because then you could be like, eat shit, I just hit you with a blue shell or whatever. With this one, it was fun because not only could you play versus each other, but you could play co-op on one cart.
Yeah.
So with Double Dash, you had 2 people per cart. You had a person driving, and then the person behind the
with
cart
like weapons and shit
was in charge of the weapons. So if you played co-op with that, you could swap. And one person was constantly driving while the other person was constantly in charge of the items, and then you could swap.
That was the great thing about Halo when it came out. You could play 2-player on like a canyon, and one guy would be on the gun, one guy would be driving.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh man, finally a co-op game that fucking works.
Yeah, so they did something similar with Double Dash. So that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that.
I will say, like, when you're going to Walmart or Target or whatever, growing up, and you see these
gaming setups.
You see, but not just that, but the glass cases with all the games, and like the expensive ones are on top, they're new.
Yep.
And then you had the ones that were, not used, but lesser in value because they're more.
And then the ones stacked up side by side like it's its own personal collection. You have to read the spines.
And like Mario cover games, standard font, standard look. The silver Mario Kart title.
Yeah.
Mario Party was always like in silver, gold, and stuff like that. But the most deceptive one was Mario Strikers.
I was gonna ask, that one comes up.
The dude, they should have paid him a cool billion for drawing that fucking shit up, because it is the most metal cover of a fucking video game about a Italian soccer player. And I'm just like, FIFA just is just trash. But like Mario Strikers, which probably isn't that fun of a game, but because it's just soccer, but like it looks like a Dragon Ball Z anime. Like he's just kicking the shit out of this ball, and I'm just like, they kept making these games, and like the art is always perfect. And I've never bought a game, even though I wanted to so badly, and just been like, I guess got it for the art.
Yeah. And then right after Mario Kart Double Dash, in my opinion, the best Mario Party game to be released, Mario Party 5. And 5. I've played a lot of them at this point. 5 had the best levels. It had the best mini games. The graphics were good. It was well balanced. Everything about this game, if you're looking for a fun Mario Party game, it's either this one or one I'll recommend when we get to the Wii. There's only 2 out of like the fucking 20 Mario Party games they've made that I've been like, yes, that's the one we play. This is the one. Number 5 is fantastic. Great graphics, really fun levels. if any point, Chris, I can ever talk you into playing a Mario Party game, that would be the one we play. It's a lot of fun.
We have Friendsgiving coming up. We can do something.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I might have a GameCube or a Wii stashed away in the closet. But nah, and then we get some of the Donkey Konga games, which that was fun. Yep, with the little peripherals. And Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, Power Tennis, Strikers, and then another Mario Party 6 and 7. And I think the only one to kind of mention out of this, outside of the baseball game they also made, was they made a Mario Mix version of Dance Dance Revolution.
Yes. For a while there, everybody had a Dance Dance Revolution.
Everyone had a Dance Dance Revolution, man.
Like Star Wars and shit, too.
God, I love those memes of like dancing Han Solo.
I'm riding solo.
And then, then we kind of wrap up the GameCube era after that.
I was kind of disappointed during the GameCube era because I wanted another Mario game that was like Sunshine or just like another Mario-centric game. But it was probably a good thing they waited because when they came out with Galaxy for the Wii, that was really cool.
Yeah, speaking of, November 2006, we get the release of the Wii. And man, I remember the release of that one clear as day, and it was madness. Everyone and their brother had to have a fucking Wii.
So the first time I had played a Wii was at a buddy's house while I was in college, and he had ping pong.
You play with your buddy's Wii in college?
Yep.
You're like, God damn it, yes.
It's college.
Move on.
It's college. Everyone plays with something. But so he had the ping pong game, but it was like the official like ping pong sports game.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Wii Sports, it came with every console.
Yeah, but this wasn't Wii Sports. This was ping pong. And we started playing the fuck out of this. And it got to where that point where it was just like, I'm going to hit you with this fucking controller. Because it always came down 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. And like you're racing to the fucking bottom at 21. And it's just like, you want to go outside? Yeah, let's go outside. And then we started playing Wii Sports. And I'm just like, all the music is very soothing. In Wii Sports.
Oh, yeah.
Like the golf. The only problem I have with these games is you don't play full sets of anything, which is ridiculous. Then they came out with the second one where you could play pool and shit, which I loved. Yeah. But nah, the Wii was fun. It was the only reason I had to use a regular controller to play a Mario game on, because like Mario Galaxy came out and I'm just like, I'm not using this goddamn controller. I'm buying a classic controller and using it.
Which, interesting thing, I did not realize this until literally when I scrolled to the Wii section. Mario Galaxy did not come out until a full year after the Wii came out. Again, another scenario where they did not launch with a Mario title.
Well, a lot of consoles, even with PlayStation had kind of abandoned Crash Bandicoot by, PS2. Yeah. Xbox had kind of waited a while for Halo 2 and 3 for the Xbox 360. And I think what it is they want their flagship characters to have more development and kind of see where people are with these tryout games. Yeah. A tryout game for the Wii was Wii Sports. Yeah. Let's see how people adjust to the thing. And PS3, when the Wii came out, had a 6-axis controller where if you move the controller like this, up and down, left to right, it had a 6-axis. Xbox 360 had microphone, all this peripheral shit for the controller, so like you had games that played on that. Yeah. Like if you remember, it was a sword fighting game for the Wii. It was super fucking like weird looking. It looked kind of like Beautiful Joe, but it was just super fucking active. You had a sword, but anyway, you had to recharge the sword because you had to move the Wii stick around. Yeah. And that was basically the whole game was designed for you to fuck with that joystick. The whole thing. By the time those Mario games came out, okay, the people are now used to the controller. So now when we come out, people aren't complaining about the game sucking.
That makes sense.
So now you're used to the controller. And do you remember the original Xbox controller? It looked like an oval. Yeah. It was weird. It was huge. It had 2 fucking cartridge spots in the center. Stupid fucking controller. Let's create a new one. Ergonomical as shit. They haven't gone away from it too much. The great thing about Nintendo is they'll try some shit. Oh, yeah. They'll fucking fuck your shit up. You guys like the Power Glove? And it's just like, it doesn't do shit. But no, it's a cool thing about Nintendo is they'll try some shit. And hey, good on them for trying. Like that whole controller setup is ridiculous.
Oh, dude, I loved it.
If I could choke you to death with it, it's not good.
Now, I remember my first experiences with the Wii. They were pretty fun. I remember my stepdad, Eric, he was the one that had it. We didn't wind up purchasing one, but by the time Mom started dating him and everything else, he already had one. But I remember like when Mario Kart Wii came out, and like we were all hyped, and we got that.
Oh, because you get the steering wheel and shit.
Oh yeah, and then I remember the thing that we were really hyped on, which we'll talk into a little bit more detail when we get to it, was the new Super Mario Brothers Wii. Mm-hmm. That one. I remember we got that within like a day or two of
now, was
launch.
that with the 4 characters?
Yes.
That game, if you did not have, synergy, that game is fucking annoying as shit.
So we'll get to that. So yeah, the Wii released in 2006. It wasn't until 2007 when we got the first Mario game, and it was Super Paper Mario.
Yeah, they went back a little bit.
Yeah, and then we got Strikers Charged, which was the follow-up to the soccer game in 2007. Near the tail end of 2007, we got Mario Party 8, which I also say is the second best Mario Party game. Yeah. That one implemented a lot of great Wii functionalities. I remember when Eric and I were playing it, we would always giggle like fucking teenage schoolgirls, because one of the games was like you had to shake the controller to like shake up a can for like when you open it, like who has the like higher, soda burst. So like both of us are just sitting there shaking the controller, and it's just like, don't you dare look at me right now. And it's like, I'm not looking at you. Don't you look at me. I'm like, we're not. It's like that. It's a very weird mini game to play with a bunch of guys in a room.
The words "no homo" come up a lot.
But no, Mario Party 8 was a lot of fun. But it was the first time I recognized that we got an update to a system that didn't feel like we got a graphical update. I remember watching this game, looking at it, going, I feel like the GameCube had better, smoother graphics than this game.
I think what it was this is kind of funny. I had the Wii in 2009, and it came preloaded because the guy had a Nintendo account.
Yeah.
And he had downloaded retro games onto the Wii, which was cool.
Yeah. Eric did the same. That was a lot of fun.
So when I bought it, I kept all the retro games, and then I jailbroke the motherfucker.
And then you put all the retro games on it.
Here's something funny about the drive.
I think my Wii is still jailbroken too.
Mine is too. I still have it.
I think I do too.
Well, so what's funny is Nintendo didn't tell anybody really, but when they finally homebrewed the fucking Wii, the CD drive that's in there had the capability of ripping games. So me and my buddy bought a Western Digital terabyte hard drive, would have our friends come over, and we would rip entire fucking games and copy them onto the hard drive. I still have a partitioned hard drive of like 40 gigs of year one Wii games.
Nice.
And I don't even know if it works anymore, but I still have the Wii that uses it, because that's when I got into watching movies streaming through the Wii, because I could download a movie online, put it on this hard drive, and the Wii would play it.
Yeah.
I use it as a Western Digital TV.
Right.
Now we just use a laptop, hook do whatever.
Hell, I could fucking start Amazon on my phone and send it to the fucking TV.
Yeah, but back in the day...
that was the shit, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the shit because the Wii was the first one that I could connect to the internet, and you could get YouTube on the Wii.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Game changer. You can watch YouTube on the TV now, boys.
I remember if you had a Wii before 4.2, yeah, you can homebrew that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
But now you can homebrew the whole fucking thing now. They don't give a shit about the update.
Yeah.
But I think the problem with the Wii was the support for the Wii was so short.
Yeah, and I feel like we could get into... because we've kind of done this episode before, but revamp it. It's not available anymore, but we could do like a full consoles episode. I feel we got to kind of just stick with the games on this.
We can just talk about Nintendo pretty much.
Oh, yeah, do a Nintendo episode. But yeah, so at the end of 2007, in November, we got Super Mario Galaxy finally, and put a lot of time into that one, but I was the reverse of you. I did not want to play with the regular controller. I wanted to play with the nunchuck and the Wii remote because it was fun pointing at the TV and catching all the star bits and, really shaking it, to do the things, just, it felt a lot more immersive, and the motherfucker wasn't wearing a backpack. So that was really nice.
Another problem that happened around that time was, it was the first time this happened for Nintendo, was people loved the GameCube, people wanted the Wii, but there was a series of games that people wanted to backport to the GameCube. Twilight Princess is the one that got up Nintendo's ass because, like, oh no, the new Zelda game that's gonna look realistic as shit.
It's on the Wii.
Yeah, and they're like, "Fuck you!" Like, what?
And
the
they're
fuck?
like, "Okay, fine, we'll put it on the GameCube."
Yeah, well, and they backported it back, and it's still a fantastic game, but I think because they put the drive in there that could play GameCube games along with Wii games, which
I thought was brilliant.
Game changer, because now your back catalog isn't wasted.
Yep.
Hey guys, that's something a corporation does for fans that needs to be brought back.
Yeah.
Like if I have a PS4 and I decide to buy a PS5, I would like to be able to play those PS4 games again.
Yeah.
There's no reason I shouldn't be able to.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there are reasons, but
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you spent all this money propping this company up, and it's just like, here you go, guys.
yeah.
Here's one where you could just bring everything over. Works fantastic. I don't need to buy fucking Skyrim again or Fallout 4 again.
But and then we got Super Smash Brothers Brawl, which was also a lot of fun. I played that one a decent amount.
That's the one I played a lot because we had the GameCube controllers hooked up to it, and I looked at them like. I looked at the pantheon of characters. I'm just like, you guys added the guys from Fire Emblem in this game, and you added Snake, and I'm just like, it doesn't. That's fucking retarded.
They had a Snake. They had the Fire Emblem guys in the GameCube version.
Yeah, and the Fire Emblem guys came back, and you had
Roy
Sheik.
and Luke. Yeah, Sheik.
Yeah, Sheik, which was Zelda.
Yeah, they had that one. GameCube.
But then you had Zelda, and then you had Peach, and then you had like a handful of other characters. And I do like the kind of expansiveness of the Mario cast.
Yeah,
because now you have Luigi. Now Luigi's got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then they did
Daisy,
and then you had they brought Pauline back for a second, and it's just like, this is hilarious.
But then after that, it just kind of slows back. Actually, it doesn't slow back. Sorry, I skipped one. Right after that was the Mario Kart Wii, which again played that one a fuck ton. And after that, it just kind of slowed down some. You got Mario Sluggers, Wario Land, Punch Out, which he had a little cameo in. Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics, which I didn't give a fuck about.
Well, what's funny
game.
is, like, so in the original Punch Out game, Mario's
the referee,
the announcer.
Yeah,
and then,
the ref.
Yeah, and then Super Punch Out, he's the announcer. But then they brought Sam back for another one, which is funny. This is a Mike Tyson game.
Yeah, but it's just Punch Out.
Yeah, it's just Punch Out. Then because they did Super Punch Out, but Mike Tyson's Punch Out was the shit.
Yeah,
because you fought him at the end.
And then in 2009, December 2009, and I remember that one because I got it for Christmas, was New Super Mario Brothers. And now you want to talk about needing synergy. This fucking game.
Oh no, they're fucking ridiculous.
So by this point,
you got 4 people.
So by this point, my little sister was born, and she was wanting to play video games. She was old enough to kind of play at this point.
Pick up them sticks.
Yep. And Eric was really cool. I mean, he was like the gamer dad. You know, we at this point we had the Xbox 360 as well, a few other things, and he had like the Duracell fucking like rechargeable battery docks where it's like you swap out the battery pack and it had like this little contacts on the back, so you just set them in the fucking holder and it charges. I have that. Yeah, so it's like he rocked it up, man. He made the entertainment center rock.
Yeah, because you can't be in the middle of the game and be like, reloading.
Oh no, those things were ready to rock every single time.
You son of a bitch.
They were ready. So it's like we had all 4 controllers, all that shit. So it's like most of the time Eric and I would be able to find some time to be like, you want to play Mario? Yeah. And we'd co-op play through some. But then all of a sudden we'd hear Katie making her way down the steps. Y'all playing Mario? I want to play Mario. Let's play Mario together. I want to play Mario. She's like grabbing the controller, and like so she's like Toad, as I'm like, because I wound up always playing Luigi on this because I like the high jumps. So I was Luigi, and it's like we'd always delegate her to like one of the Toads, be like, oh no, you're the cute little Toad character. Yeah, have fun with her. You know, yeah, that's cute.
Being left behind as the game progresses forward.
Dude, the 2 of us are just like slaying the course, and she's like floating in the fucking bubble the entire time.
I remember playing that game with 2 other people and just 3 people. I was just like, we're moving right, and you need to move faster.
Go.
Go. I will leave you behind. I will leave you the fuck behind. But what's fun was during the time of the Wii U going into the next console.
Yep, because that was really the last game to really kind of come out Mario related.
They thought it was a good idea to let people make their own goddamn levels.
Yep, with Mario Maker.
Monsters. All of you who play Mario Maker and make these levels, you belong in a hostile film and Saw. These are just brutal fucking things. I've never seen so many chain chomps and spikes and flames. And I like watching these guys play it. Is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
it's brutal shit.
This was in the middle. I never had the Wii U, but this was in the middle of me like watching all the gamers on YouTube and shit.
And you know what's cool about
so many rage quits over Mario Maker levels.
You know what's really cool about the Mario Maker is you can make a level and have the CPU try to play it, and it will show you marks where you need to fix where it is incompletable.
Yep,
because the CPU would try about 10 times to try to play your game, and then it'll be like, all right, here's where you need to fix it. And here's where you need to move something. Here's where you need to, and you'll see these little like exclamation points pop up because you'll see Mario getting fucking ripped in half and shit. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ! But dude, bravo to some of these guys creating just.
Oh yeah.
And like watching some of these guys play it, it's like watching the guys play Tetris with the NES controller because they got it on its side.
Yeah.
And they'll sit there and play it, and they're playing the controller on its side, and I'm just like, no way in hell I've learned that shit.
Yeah, and the Wii U, I mean, it winds up being the butt of the jokes a lot of the times. But it's
What's a preamble to the Switch?
But you look at the game list, and there's nothing of note. There's really nothing on this system. You had New Super Mario Brothers U, which was New Super Mario Brothers Wii, but on the Wii U. Yeah. It's the same fucking game. And then you had New Super Luigi U. It's the same game, but primarily with Luigi. And then you had Mario and Sonic at the Olympics again. Yeah. And then Super Mario 3D World, which was kind of like a weird follow-up, but it wasn't good at all.
If I remember correctly, the year, what year was it that Mario Olympics, what year was that?
2013.
2000 Olympics. That okay. So the Olympics would have been 2012. So that
this was the Sonic at the Sochi 2014.
Yeah, Sochi. That was the Winter Olympics. Yeah, that was in Russia.
That's what the game was.
Yeah, but I remember like them advertising hard about doing the Olympic Games, which I thought was cool.
Yeah,
because like, let's see Mario, on the track versus Sonic. It's funny as shit.
Yeah,
but like it would have been really cool if they were doing Olympic Games again now with the Switch.
I think they do. They do.
Yeah, but. Yeah, I think the whole Wii U, was just another like tryout concept where guys like, what if we had a console you can play in your hand like the Game Boy, but we can build it to the TV?
Yeah,
and like, oh no, that's a great idea. But it kind of falls off the rails with this one because it is a clunky looking controller.
It is,
but it wasn't until people threw that thing away, and they should have because they told Nintendo, all right, let's streamline it better, let's make it better, let's go minimalist on the controls. Mm-hmm. Let's keep it like the old controller.
Before we get to that one, I think it's a prime example of what you were saying. The console killed the games. Not necessarily the games were that bad, because guess what also came out on this system? Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8, the game that everyone plays their ass off on the Switch, is not a Switch game.
Yeah.
It's a Wii U game with everything unlocked and like a couple new characters.
Yeah,
and like slight visual upgrades. But it's the exact same game you had on the Wii U. Yeah. Now that it's on the Switch, people love it. It's the best-selling Mario game Mario Kart game.
And I think what really, really does it in is the death of the handheld. Because no other Xbox and PlayStation didn't really invest too much in the handheld except for the PSP.
Yeah.
And Xbox was already part of Microsoft doing PC gaming. So it was probably the smartest idea in the world just to make a console that is also handheld and, for your TV.
Yeah, for the Nintendo Switch, yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It really is. So far, the Switch is definitely in my top 3 favorite consoles Nintendo's done, including handhelds.
Yeah.
It's really great. And and the game selection on it, I think that's another reason why we're kind of at a high point for Nintendo fans right now, because their eShop, you toss the motherfuckers $30 a year and you get NES, Super Nintendo, now Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis games, all on your system. And that's not including the eShop that has the Mario Kart game that's constantly getting updated with new tracks.
Yeah.
The new Super Smash Brothers game with every fucking character you like, and now you can download all the old courses or all the old levels that you used to fight on the other ones. And then Super Mario Party now, where all of a sudden they're taking the best elements of all the Mario Party games, mashing them into one with new graphics, going, here you go, guys. For the fans of the series, this is what you wanted, here you go. The Switch is proving to be the ultimate version of every game. The ultimate Mario Kart is on the Switch. The ultimate Smash Brothers is on the Switch. Which almost makes me worry, where do they go from here?
Well, they're doing something now that other consoles are doing, which are these like PS4.5, you know, like the Slims, your S's.
Yeah, I mean we've gotten the Pro recently. You've got the Pro actually.
Yes, I have the OLED.
Yes.
It's a bigger.
I call it the Pro.
Yeah, it's a bigger screen, and I will say, out of all the fucking consoles we played, that's the only one I regret not getting in the beginning. I will say
you've liked it that much.
I wish I had bought a Switch earlier.
Because I remember you were talking about getting the Switch Lite, where you couldn't connect it to a TV. I was like, man, I feel like you're going to like the other one.
So I bought the Switch Lite.
Yeah.
And it had a battery of about three hours. And then by happenstance, my friend's working at a GameCop at GameStop, and she needed a ride. I was like, okay, let me just walk around. And like, how much is the new? And she's like, $300. And it comes with a wireless Bluetooth controller that looks like an Xbox controller. Had gold fucking trim and everything on it. So I bought that. I bought Breath of the Wild. I already had it for the Switch Lite. I poured it in, start playing it, and I'm just like, yep, this is my jam. And you know what I've never done? I've never played it on TV.
Really?
Never.
Still?
Because I just hold the motherfucker.
It's the ultimate Game Boy.
And that's what I said about that's what I was talking about. I was like, with the Wii U, the guy who came up with the Wii U basically told them, fuck making handhelds.
Yeah.
We're going to make the best of both. And the graphics, the way they do the graphics on the Switch is top tier. And I've recently saw a guy post a video of what Mario could be on an Unreal Engine. And it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It's so weird, though.
Yeah, it is weird because it's a point of view, like third person, and you're always behind them. But you recently had the Switch All-Star.
Yeah.
Which is probably the best fucking Mario thing they've come out with in years.
Yeah, with that one, that had the Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Odyssey.
Yeah,
and that's a great. I think you've actually still got that one.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, and
you've yet to, you borrowed that from me like 2 months ago, and you've yet to play it.
I've been playing Breath of the Wild. It's the best game I've ever played.
Play the goddamn game.
I'm gonna play it for like 5 minutes and be like, "Yep, Mario still has water in his backpack." I'm just going, and I'm like, "All right, what am I? Oh, I'm Link. I'm slaughtering people at my will." Yep, I'm going to do that.
And I really have nothing to say about the new Mario game that's out for this console because I've yet to play it.
Yeah.
And I intentionally haven't. I intentionally didn't watch a lot of YouTubers playing it because I kind of want to experience it myself.
Now, my next game I'll probably buy will probably be Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, the new one.
Actually, I'll go back and buy 2 because I never played 2, and then I'll go back and play 3.
Yeah,
and buy 3 later on.
I heard 2 wasn't that great, so 3 maybe just.
I don't know. It's going to be new to me. It's going to be fun. It's a Luigi's Mansion. I love the game. I wish they would.
I'm gonna fucking play it. God damn it!
I don't know. Do you probably do? Did they port Luigi's Mansion over to the Switch?
I don't know if they ported the. They don't have a lot. No, actually, they don't have any GameCube games ported
That's a damn
yet.
shame.
Yeah.
There's so much fun shit on GameCube.
But I tell you, man, this has been a fat episode. We're at 2 hours on this episode, man.
Fistful of quarters, baby.
We've been playing a long ass time with a fucking over a fistful of that. But
2 hours is not a long time to play video games. Get the fuck out of here.
It is here to fucking listen to 2 white guys wax poetic about Mario. But no, we have definitely got to do some more Fistful of Quarters episodes. I feel like there is a wealth of gaming things that we can chit chat about that we have yet to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, for Chris, this is Alex, and this has been another fun episode of Fistful of Quarters, and damn it, give me another quarter.